This is the Classic Auto Mall Show. Broadcast from the studios inside the Classic Auto Mall in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Just 1 hour west of Philadelphia at Pennsylvania Turnpike exit 298. Featuring nearly 1,000 classic, vintage, and barn-find vehicles for sale under one climate-controlled roof. Now, here's your host, Classic Auto Mall president, and the man with all the toys, Stewart Howden.
You know, the more I see myself on camera, the less hair I'm getting. I'm like that hairless cat that we had on the show.
We can put AI and
you know, Peter, when Peter was taking the pictures of our staff pictures for our website, he took my picture and then he, on his own liberty, decided to add a little more hair to mine. It looked really bad. No, it was terrible looking. It was one of those things that was better. It's better bald than that.
Better left unsaid.
Better left.
Your health is your wealth.
That's
Don't
right.
worry about
show number 164.
Hi.
Here we are today. Or this show is going to be our last show on America's Web Radio. So it's been a nice 3-year run. And as we said in the show last couple of weeks, we're going to focus more on the YouTube and the video side of it and that sort of thing. And so we appreciate everything that they did for us.
And if you listen on AWR, America's Web Radio, you can now go over to any podcast carrier and catch the show there.
Or YouTube as well,
list of them. Yeah, YouTube. That's where we want you to go. Is go to YouTube, turn it on, do your work, have the sound in the background, enjoy the show. And occasionally we'll show the cars. Yeah,
and we'll show cars and and it's cool because, you know, so many things we talk about are visual and it's kind of hard to describe, you know, the color blue to somebody.
But sometimes you just can't. So if you need to go to a podcast site, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, it's also on iHeartRadio, probably the biggest one, TuneIn, Amazon Music, and then other places, like they say, wherever you get your podcast.
Yes. So we started this 3.5,
3 years, about 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago.
Amazing.
So, so it's hard to believe that we're still here.
Yeah.
Glad we are.
Yeah.
And I only didn't make it one time.
That's right.
Because of the snowstorm.
Yeah.
And I was on my way. And you called and said, we're not doing a show today. And I turned around in my Subaru, by the way.
And which is not designed for snow or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have made it for the show.
Yeah, baby.
You know,
knock on wood, been healthy.
I make it to work every time, although I can walk to work quicker than I can drive to work. So
you could.
Of course I can. So thanks to the Pat Travers Band. And we appreciate them. And I think I did see they're out on tour again. So I think that...
in December in California, Agora Hills, and somewhere else near there, and another one.
Yeah, so if you get a chance, go check them out and tell them you heard about them on the Classic Auto Mall.
They'll be like, wow, I've been there.
So
Pat will go, yeah.
They're like, we're not getting paid for that? What the? So, Pat, you're getting paid in kindness and doing a good deed.
And promotion.
And we're promoting you. Promote. That's what we do. We promote.
What year was that song?
God, 1980.
Oh, in the 80s?
Yeah, okay. 80, probably 5 or no, probably even before that, like 1982 or 83.
All right.
So.
I thought it was older than that.
Offbeat Ride is the name of it.
Yep, got it.
Offbeat Ride. The ride is a listen
gotcha.
To my music chops.
Very car related.
Very car related.
But the beat sounds very regular, so I don't know why.
And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet either, we send a newsletter once a month. We've got over 50,000 or almost. Not over, but right at 50,000 email addresses on our mailing list.
That's something.
And it really is. It's it's hard to grow that because people fall off for whatever reason, or email addresses become invalid for whatever reason,
stale,
or scams or spam or whatever. But it's pretty amazing. And we only send a newsletter once a month, and that is the newsletter sign up, or the giving your email address when you come into our building is your admission charge. Instead of us charging you $10 or $20 to come in, which would be a reasonable amount of money to come see. How many cars do we have in inventory right now?
989.
972.
How about 998?
Wow.
2 away from 1,000. So we're almost back to that precipice.
And there's 2 on the way. There's 2 on the way today, or 1.5.
There's actually 2 on the way, and then there's 3 truckloads coming.
Yes, I heard.
Another area.
Oh, my goodness.
Peter, get in the batter's box. Start warming up.
Yeah, steady as she goes, Peter. We're don't go off to a place that doesn't have cell service or
internet
connection. So But yeah, we've got the inventory is growing. And of course, it's this time of year. This is our busiest time for new inventory because of Hershey and Carlisle and all the events that we do that lead up to it. And all these events that we do are, in fact, we don't go to these events like Hershey to sell a car, even though we take 12 cars. And if we sell a car, we're not going to say no. But we go there to get consignment. That's to let people know what our process is, how it works, how we do business. And when we tell them that at these events, and then we get all these consignments coming in, and then they all hit at once.
Yeah.
And then we go, one day last week or 2 weeks ago, I think we took in 14 in one day.
Yeah, so, nine yesterday.
9 yesterday.
Yeah. But that's why.
But who's counting, right?
That's why you consign it at Classic Auto Mall, because that's what we're doing. Is that's not cheap to go to those shows and take our trailer and all the stuff that's involved.
And pay to be a sponsor and all those things, which we love to do because it's giving back to the hobby. Most of these events that we do have a charity base to them or a charity theme to them, if you will.
Yeah.
And they are, all the proceeds or, anything over the expenses go to, and people, I mean, listen, they volunteer their time for all these. If you go to any Concours d'Elegance or any car show or most everybody you see working, not most everybody, almost everybody is on their own dime there. Yep. I mean, all of the judges that go to the Concours d'Elegances pay their own airfare. They pay their own hotel. They pay most of their meals, unless there's a luncheon or a dinner or something that they're invited to with the Concours. But they pay it all out of their own pocket. Yep. But the money goes to charity.
Yeah.
So it's a good deed. It's a good way to give back. And it's a lot of fun, to be a judge and that prestige and wear that navy blazer with the straw hat.
Absolutely. It's very cool.
And a clipboard. And
so they probably pay for the MC and porta potties.
And well, yes.
They're
not free. But a lot of these companies will donate their services in kind. Like in Boyertown, I know that when we do our annual volunteer dinner, which is coming up tomorrow night, the catering company donates all the food and for the
nice,
because it's a not-for-profit.
Sure.
And what a cool thing. So
beautiful.
But and same with Radnor Hunt and same with all the other now there are some for-profit Concours d'Elegances out there, and that's okay. I mean, that's all right as long as you're upfront about it and not we always worry that people will say that something is not for profit when it is for profit, and you just don't want to mislead people when you do that. And it's fine to be for profit, just as long as it's out there and
sure
and made public to
absolutely.
Everybody. So, but we love being involved in those things, and it's a good way to connect with our consigners and buyers and just car hobbyists in general. I mean, when you go to Hershey or you go to the Philly Auto Show, I mean, how many people do you talk to in a day? They're just car people, and it's just all day long.
It's amazing. I don't know what to say. I mean, just across the country, the amount of car activity and
on any
up
given
into
day.
Canada too. I mean, it's amazing.
On any given day, especially from about mid-April through mid-October, I can't imagine if you added up every car event that was going on in every church parking lot and every Walmart supercenter,
every cruise night,
every cruise night, cars and coffees.
Yeah.
I mean, just thousands and thousands,
tens of thousands.
And it used to be you could almost count them on one hand how many events there were. I mean, there was some big events that were around, and then there a few churches had a kind of a church parking lot car show, if you will, and that was about it. There wasn't a whole lot.
I wonder if some of it is like sort of the end of a generation. Like they're like, this is our last. I hate to sound morbid, but this is like it's an older crowd mostly. It's some of these car shows. What's it going to look like in 20 years? In other words,
I think that the car show model of a husband and wife bringing their car, putting up the little sign in front of it, getting their two folding chairs, their little cooler as their table, little umbrella so they don't get completely knocked out by the sun. I think that's going by the wayside, and that's been the success of Cars and Coffee, because Cars and Coffee are basically about a 2.5 hour car show. And there's no time limit. You can come and go as you please. So when you go to a car show that's a car show proper, you get there at 8 o'clock in the morning. You don't leave till the end of the show at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I think that the attention span of people is changing from that. And although we had 700 and something people at Cars for Casey last weekend. So, I mean, maybe that's completely out the window.
Well, I mean, for the younger generation, it's tough to sit for 8 hours in a day. That's why Cars and Coffee is, like, when I go to the one, and there's one in Ambler, I feel old.
Yeah.
And I'm not that old. And I'm like, I could be these kids' grandfather, you know?
You're pretty old.
I was visiting my sister in Northwest Indiana, and there was a car show in a Walmart parking lot or something. So I'm going to go check it out. And it was probably 25% what we would call classic cars.
Right.
It was a lot of tuners and stuff. So there were younger people into it showing different things or impressed by different things, but they were still showing off their cars.
Well, lots of late model Camaros and Corvettes you see at these shows that are more, a lot of people have realized that, some of these old cars are, a lot of them are temperamental, and they don't.
Really? I can't imagine.
They don't always do. They don't always do what they're supposed to do. But you get a 2008 or 9 Corvette. They're reasonably priced, got a lot of performance for the value, and they're reasonably reliable.
Yes.
But the mistake that people make a lot of times, and I'll say this in an article that we've got coming up in the next couple of shows. Why does people forget, they look at a 2002 Corvette, let's say. That is now 23 model years old.
Yep.
And it's almost an antique car in most states, or, a collectible car, a classic, which is 25 years. That's a 2002 Corvette. But you look at it, you go, oh, that looks like a brand new car. Because it, in essence, does. I mean, yes, it doesn't look like the brand new Corvettes that are out there, because those things look like, I don't know what they look like. They look like everything else, I guess. They look like a Ferrari. It's hard to tell the difference between a Ferrari and McLaren and even a Corvette. When they go down the road, you do a double take to try to go, was that a McLaren? Oh, that was a Corvette. Yeah. It happens.
It's true. Like from the 2000s on, cars are designed almost like futuristic. Like,
they look
like they still look good.
They still look new.
Porsches and Corvettes and all that.
My 2006 Mercedes still looks like a brand new car. People think it's what year is that? Is that a 2020? And I go, no, it's a 2006.
I think once we got past the jelly bean car shape of the old Tauruses of the 80s, I think all of a sudden more design got back into them.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Well, because it's got to factor in aerodynamics. People wonder why all cars look the same. It's because every engineer went to the same school and with the same objective. I've got to get 0.28 coefficient of drag, and it's got to get 38 miles per gallon, and it's got to do this. But look what's amazing what the engineers and the manufacturers have done is they've not only met all these stipulations and maybe made up guidelines, if you will.
Yeah.
They've exceeded them. They got 1,200 horsepower McLarens and 1,500 horsepower this, and we all thought that was never going to happen again because they'll never meet the mileage requirements.
Right.
And now the hello, the supercars now they're 350 of their 1,200 horsepower is hybrid or is battery.
Yeah, right.
Well, and the design too, like I remember saying about the Ford Contour. I can't imagine the Ford guy that saw that coming off the line when it was brand new built and going, what a good looking car.
What a nice looking
car. However, the SVT version of that was pretty cool.
It was kind of cool.
And remember Ford designed the Probe, which remember how revolutionary that was at the time?
Amazing
because it was a wedge and it was like, wow.
And then the SHO Taurus, which was a Yamaha engine that they had in it. And that was, but if you look back at the Taurus, they didn't age well. There's a lot of cars that did age well, and that's not one of them. It looks boxy and I don't know, it just doesn't look right.
Yep.
So it's one of the first cars.
As my grandmother said, it had the peculiars.
And they had a newer shape in 2000, but it didn't last.
Right. So what were you saying?
I was going to say I think the Taurus was the first car with flush headlights to the body.
Right.
Yeah.
Back in 89, 90.
And those ones that you have to sand now.
I had a 93 show and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Until it broke down.
And then it was a pilot.
And then it was, right. It was great.
When we return, we'll continue our conversation at the Classic Auto Mall show from the Classic Auto Mall studio. We'll catch you in a couple of minutes.
The Classic Auto Mall has more than 1,000 vehicles for consignment in our huge 8-acre climate-controlled showroom. It's a real indoor mall. If you'd like to know all the advantages of buying and selling a car through consignment, the information is available on our website, or you can talk to a classic car specialist who can answer all your questions. It's easy, safe, convenient, and it doesn't matter where you are. We sell worldwide. See our huge selection of classic and collectible vehicles at classicautomall.com.
And we're back with the Classic Auto Mall studio, or the Classic Auto Mall show from the Classic Auto Mall studio. God, some days I'm really not.
It's
here.
Monday.
It's not Monday.
It's not.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesdays always feel like Mondays to me because I got to get up early.
Got to drive all the way down.
You got to drive all the way down.
And so we wrote an article, or I wrote an article. About 6 months ago or a year ago, and I was writing these for the AACA Speedster, which is their monthly newsletter. And I wrote about 10 of these articles, and then I dropped off. I have lots of ideas for new articles, but I just haven't done them yet. So, but we'll go through the old ones and kind of catch up with these, and then maybe I'll get better at writing some new ones. And these are just guidelines in the hobby, things to look out for, pitfalls in the hobby, things when you're buying a car to look for, myths. That's what we'll talk about today. The Model A is dead. And other myths.
Ooh.
I like it.
And I didn't get to mention earlier, you mentioned the newsletter, how nice it looks. It really does good. And your contributions and everything else, it's good.
Contributions, he does the whole thing.
Randy's helping.
Oh, he's a Randy?
Yeah, Randy's helping a little bit now.
Shout out to Randy.
But it's great. It's a great read.
His is more operational. Mine is more creative. So sorry, Randy. I didn't really mean to throw you under the bus. You've lied to all your friends and said you're the creator of the newsletter.
Whoever creates it, it's good stuff.
Yeah, by golly, it's good stuff. And it's only once a month. We only send,
it's brief.
Unless we have, literally, if we have some kind of, specialty something event going on, then we might send you more. We might send you 2 in a month. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I get emails from companies. I get 8 and 10 a day about stuff that it's one of those things that there's certain ones that you get that you don't want to unsubscribe to because they're on the off chance that maybe there might be something a week from now or a year from now that I didn't want to miss.
Mm-hmm. I get a lot of don't forget to make your payment. Is that a problem for me?
You might want to not ignore those. I get Harbor Freight every day, and I don't want to get rid of it because every once in a while,
there might be something cool there that you go, oh, hey, wait a minute now.
I need that.
Yeah, I need that. I really need that rolling generator that runs on vegetable oil. So the Model A is dead and other myths. That's our article for the month. We'll do these once a month on the first show every month. And the second show of every month, this is we're getting into formatting here.
Nice.
We're going to start doing the movie of the month.
Movie of the month.
Yeah, because we'll get back to that because we did a bunch
we did, yeah.
Yeah, but then we kind of fell off.
Warn me ahead of time and I'll try to watch them.
I will. I'll do our best. And if you have to pay $3.99 to Amazon, you can turn it in as an expense.
Oh, okay.
Kathy, did you hear that? So when we start getting... Well, it's like when you used to stay in hotels on the company card, and then there was movies on there that you watched.
Interesting.
You weren't really supposed to be watching them. They were like $29.
Look out.
And everybody that watched them said, I never turned that on. They would argue with the people at the front desk. I never turned that movie on. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, they hear that all the time.
Yeah, they're like, okay, sir,
whatever.
right. You didn't also put the quarter in for the magic fingers either.
Right. So a little tease. Why did the Model T? Why is it not dead?
The Model A is dead and other
Model A.
Well, so this was a thing that started for at least 20 years or even longer than that. Those of us in the classic car business have predicted the demise of the Model A. There's no way it's going to continue on. It's old-fashioned. It's antique. It's everything. It's black usually. It's dusty. It's dirty. It's slow. It's kind of weird to operate. There's, they don't go very fast. So, as the younger generation takes over the hobby, there's no way that the Model A's are going to still sell. I remember in 2001 when I was at eBay Cruise in Indiana, we would talk frequently about the prices of Duesenbergs dropping down to almost $300,000 to $400,000 when they had been like $1 million, and then they got down to $300,000 or $400,000, and we said, a significant drop. And we figured, well, if that's the case, the Model A is not far behind on its last legs. There's no way that these Model A's are just going to continue to sell. But all these pre-war cars were out of favor with the consumer, and no way would there be a market. While the prices have gone down since then, the Model A continues to sell well, and Duesenbergs, well, they're trading in $2 and $3 and $4 million now. Yep. So we thought they'd go away. And what's even more interesting is the Model A replica, which is the most, arguably one of the most prevalent ones, is the Shay, S-H-A-Y. We can't keep those when they come into stock. We got one in a couple of days ago, and the guy's already inquiring about it. And we haven't even taken pictures or written a description, which I know is music to your ears. Because if we don't have to do any of that, then your job is a lot easier.
Saves everybody a lot of work.
Just sell it before it gets off the trailer. Yeah. You know, I'll take that one coming off the trailer.
Saw a 68 Charger today on the trailer. I'm like,
it's a Hemi.
And it's a Hemi.
And it's a real Hemi. And it's an estate car that we just took in. We got a nice collection of about 18 cars from an estate.
Yeah. Speaking of trailers.
Speaking of trailers and all that. And I've really diverged from the Model A story. Haven't I? But here's the thing about Model A's. Consumers continued to connect with the Model A. If you want the challenge and the feel and you can take all the negatives that I just said. They're not fast. They're kind of weird to work and turn those into a positive. They are the epitome of what an antique car should be. So if you want that visceral experience of an antique automobile, then a Model A is great. And the reason you don't say Model T, which was before that, is because they're just weirdly complicated for no particular reason. They're like the, overcomplicated, stupid pedals don't make sense. You got to put the lime in the coconut. Call me a
degree in engineering.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Well, they just made it to run. And it's like,
they don't like me either. I try to start those things, and I know the process, and I know how to do it, so don't send me letters telling me I'm stupid because I don't need to be told that. But
if you do, podcast at classicautomall.com.
Yeah, and you can tell me how stupid I am. But I just, for some reason, Model Ts and I don't get along very well. And but Model A's are still, a little tricky. You got the little choke and the twisty dial and this and that and all the different things. But the cool thing is they're easy to work on, right? So
everything's accessible.
And parts are plentiful. I mean, to this day, there are still plenty of places you can buy Model A Ford parts because they made millions of Model A's. So, and when you see them listed for sale, they don't generally, like I said, of the Shays, which are the replicas, they don't last for long. And of course, it's the ease of operation compared to the Model T is, like I said, it's light years different. And they're a 3-speed manual transmission and a 4-cylinder engine. Literally, if you drove one into the middle of a field in the middle of nowhere and just left it for about 20 years, came back out, scored a little oil in it, put some fresh gas in it, put a fresh battery to it, it'd probably start. Which, try that on your modern car. Leave your Corvette out for 20 years, the 2020 or 2002 Corvette.
Right.
And there were so many body styles. There's the pickup and they had to be a little bit of everything to everybody. There was Roadster 2-seaters, there was 4-seater Tourings, there was pickup trucks, there was huckster trucks, there was just everything you can imagine. There's probably over 20 different styles, not including the commercial variants. They made over $4.8 million in the 4-year run from 28 to 31.
Amazing.
4.8.
That's crazy.
Do the math on that. Times $400. Or what they cost, or 300 and something.
Back in that time.
And, and then talking about the Shay, if you want something with a little even more reliability, the Shay, the Model A replica, the Shay uses a Pinto 4-cylinder and a 3 or 4-speed automatic transmission. They're fiberglass. And they are, they build about 5,000 of them, and they're still available out there. So. But what makes a Model A still relevant? They're fun to drive, great entry point into the hobby, especially if pre-war vehicles are your thing. They look like an older antique car. Nothing better than seeing a Model A Ford loaded with family at a local parade in any town, USA. They're just cool looking. And as for the other myths, we'll address those in a future article. So where did we sell cars this week? At Glen, Pennsylvania. Nottingham, Sherwood Florist? No, Nottingham, Pennsylvania. Lucedale, Mississippi, or Loosedale. Pittman, Pennsylvania. Pelham, Pennsylvania. Narrows, Virginia. Vineland, New Jersey. Lodi, California.
Oh, yes. Lodi.
Edgewater, New Jersey. Kings Park, New York. Reading, Pennsylvania. And Fabio, New York. No, Fabius. Fabius. You sent me, Steve, a interesting sales brochure from 1970, and I had forgotten to look at it. So this is the Mustang from 1970 brochure, and this thing is hilarious. Talk about dosage.
Yeah.
These guys were... So the 1970 Mustang, the first picture or the first wording that you see on it is like it hot, like it cool, like it quick, like it slick, like it rich. What you need is a Mustang.
Hey, now. They had free reign.
They had free reign, baby.
Good pictures.
Hubert Bailey, the accountant, couldn't keep his figures balanced. He got a Mach 1 and figures are no longer his problem.
Well.
And there's a picture of him and a shapely girl.
And a yellow raincoat.
I love it.
How about...
Free love, 1970. Remember, people don't get offended.
Sexist.
Carol Edmonston had a BA, MA, and PhD, but really wanted her MRS. Since she bought Mustang, she can't decide between Mr. BA, Mr. MA, or the PhD. And there's 3 guys in tuxedos standing
behind
around her.
That's awesome.
In her 70 Mustang with a sport roof.
That's right.
The old stereotypical days.
Yeah, and the upper class grande interior makes her feel like a VIP. This is all in one.
I remember the
Brochure.
Grande.
The Grande. It had that insert of like vinyl seats on the side and cloth in the center.
And looking like burled walnut.
Yeah.
Mark Musino's coaching career was a big zero until he bought his Mustang sport roof. Now it's a whole new ball game. And he's surrounded by
this one's a little weird. Yeah.
It looks like he looks like kind of like Sterling Moss there.
He's older gentleman and he's surrounded by cheerleaders.
Patch of hair. The coolest one, the Ford ad that I always liked, is the guy standing next to the Lincoln Mark III with the aviator glasses on. He had the leather jacket, kind of half balding. He was the cool guy. That poster is
the print ad.
The hallway in my office. So the other, was there any more on that? So, with Dave and Donna Durish, it was always mine and yours. Now they both drive Mustangs, and it's his and hers.
But does it get into gas mileage in there?
No, it doesn't, because nobody cared back then. Right. Not quite then. 70.
Gas was cheap.
They weren't
still cheap. Yeah.
They weren't worried about it then.
It's just it's a great piece of cultural culture.
I have a 1960 Falcon brochure.
There you go. How about this one? And then the last page. Mustang's the one! Exclamation. Designed to be, designed by you. Designed to be,
designed by you. That's real good, actually.
I like that. That's really very clever. And then that's it.
And then it's technical stuff.
Yeah, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different engine options.
Wow.
Can you imagine in today's world if you had 9 engine options on the Explorer?
Yeah, no,
don't have that. Plus, they'd laugh at you. They wouldn't even build it. When we return, we'll continue our conversation at the Classic Auto Mall show from the Classic Auto Mall studio. We'll catch you in a couple of minutes.
Whether you want to buy or sell a classic, collectible, or special interest vehicle, you need to visit the Classic Auto Mall website for more information. If you're looking to buy, you can easily search our inventory of more than 1,000 vehicles on the web at classicautomall.com.
New arrivals this week. How about the 1956 Lincoln Continental Mark II? Cream white over deep red and white. 368 cubic inch 4-barrel V8. This is a bad boy car back in the day. I mean, these things were they were the precursor to what we were just talking about. The Mark III. Yeah, which the cool guys had. Nicely restored, this 56 Lincoln Continental Mark II. And I don't really think Lincoln Continental Mark II is the correct.
I think it's Continental Mark II. Yeah,
but everybody refers to it as Lincoln.
So
right. I don't know legally what that means or doesn't mean. So plush, luxurious interior and the mid-century modern design. So I like that.
Well, as I mentioned I did a TikTok on this one, and of course Elvis had one. So you know it's cool when Elvis had one.
Yeah, Elvis had all the.
It was one of his first purchases. Actually,
he had that. He had a BMW 507.
Yeah.
Lots of Cadillac Eldorados. He had
some kind of Lamborghini,
like a Miura.
No, I forget that. What Jalpa or
Halpa?
Yeah,
Halpa.
One of those.
Halpa, Jalpa.
One of the small ones.
Jalpa, but the J is silent.
I know. Even though it's Italian, not Spanish, but I get it.
Yeah, Jalpa, Halpa, whatever. So other new arrivals. How about the 1967 Buick Skylark Convertible? Apple red over black. They couldn't afford the candy apple? Or is that a variant of red?
I don't know. It's a variant.
That's a good question, though.
It is.
Excellent question.
There's bright red. There's about 100 different
reds.
Candy.
Yeah. There's candy apple red. There's, There's Firestorm. Or what is the brownish, bronzy looking?
Like a burnt orange?
Yeah, it's like a Firestorm.
Firethorn.
Firethorn. That's it. Very good. This one's this 1967 Buick Skylark Convertible is one of 6,319 built. 300 cubic inch 2-barrel V8. I didn't even know there was a 300 cubic inch. Buick had some odd engine sizes.
They did.
261s and 300s.
Yeah, a 301.
And 301s and just bizarre. So the ST200 2-speed automatic, top-down fun and mid-60s cool.
Who wrote that?
Other new arrivals, the 2015 Chevrolet Camaro 2SS Coupe, black over black. A worked 6.2 liter V8. I kind of jumped when I said that.
Yeah, you see that.
You see that?
You see it on YouTube.
Yeah. You see the twitching arm. I don't know what happened there.
It's amazing how many of these late model Camaros are modified.
Oh my God.
The horsepower.
This one's got nitrous. It's got a limited slip axle, the 6-speed automatic. It's a sinister retro modern look. You write that?
I don't know. It depends on where you got it.
Don't know where I got it.
But
I got it,
it is a sinister.
Wherever I got getting things. So, it's like I said, it was nitrous equipped, so you can really put the go juice to it if you need to.
That's right.
You know that I have driven lots of cars with nitrous, but I've never driven a car and engaged the nitrous.
Oh.
Other new arrivals, the 1965 Lincoln Continental Convertible, black over white, 94,000 actual miles, 430 cubic inch, 4-barrel V8, meticulous resto, and the Lincoln Drive automatic, which was, they were branding transmissions back then. They were calling them the Lincoln Drive.
Yeah, all
like
kinds
that was
of
going to be smoother than
Ford-O-Matic.
The Ford-O-Matic and the Chrysler had
Power Glide,
Torque
Flight,
Turbo-Hydromatic. That was a long word for a Turbo-Hydromatic.
That's why we abbreviate it.
TH, we like to say. And this 65 Lincoln Continental Convertible, knew everything. I mean, everything is just redone and new and really wonderfully done. Other new arrivals, the 1938 Packard 12 1607 Series Convertible Coupe. I like long names. Packard ivory over black. One of possibly only 8 left in the world. Wow. Long-term ownership. 470. These had big motors, too. 473 cubic inch L-headed V12. 3-speed synchromesh manual. Luxury and opulence. Nicely restored and preserved. This thing is big.
Yeah, no,
it's sitting right there in our main showroom. When you walk in the door, you cannot miss it. It's on the right-hand side. It looks Packard ivory is almost a yellow, kind of like the color of my shirt.
It is.
If you're on podcast, you won't know what I'm talking about. But if you're on YouTube, where we like you to go, then you'll know exactly.
And subscribe.
Yeah, please subscribe. Everybody, please subscribe.
And hit the bell.
Your friends and ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, well, there are new uploads every day, I tell people.
There are new uploads every day.
Fantastic.
And then our show uploads every week, usually on, it's going to be Saturdays now. So every Saturday there should be a new Classic Auto Mall show, unless we've decided to take a week off.
That's right.
This is the closest I have to a bell. That's what we like.
Yeah, it's the ching ching down, down, down. That's the cash register sound. Pink Floyd Money.
That's right. Yep, that's the song. I knew there was a song related.
That was a long stretch for that. So how about last but not least, the 1941 Hudson Six Traveller 10T 4-door Club Sedan. What a name!
That's a long one.
That's a long name. Brown and tan over tan. 43,000 actual miles, 212 cubic inch L-head inline 6, 3-speed with overdrive, nicely tended to, amazingly uncommon. When we return, we'll continue our conversation at the Classic Auto Mall show from the Classic Auto Mall studio. We'll catch you in a couple of minutes.
Buying and selling via consignment is safe, easy, and secure. We advertise, sell, and ship worldwide. And if you'd like to know all the advantages of selling your car through consignment, the information's available on our website, or you can talk to a classic car specialist who can answer all your questions. Plus, you can easily search our inventory online at classicautomall.com.
And we're back with the Classic Auto Mall show from the Classic Auto Mall studios in Morgantown, Pennsylvania on a whatever day it happens to be, whenever you're watching and listening. It's a beautiful sunny day here in fall. Beautiful, gorgeous day. And my Tennessee Volunteers, 6-1.
I heard.
Beat Florida and Alabama.
How about that?
They're not happy about it. Them Alabamans ain't happy. And Florida boys ain't happy about it because Tennessee has not done too well. Our record against Florida or Alabama over the last 80 years is 60-20, 60 losses and 20 wins. Something crazy like that.
And if anybody's listening from Alabama, we still love you.
Oh, we love you. We don't you forget.
Don't you worry.
We'll sell you a car. Yeah,
that's right.
Damn tootin', we'll sell you a car.
We have
sold you a car. We sold quite a few cars to Alabama and Tennessee.
Did you see the F1 US F1 this weekend? I did not get a chance. What happened? Tell us. Recap.
Well, let me recap it. How about Ferrari was 1-2?
Ooh,
how cool is that? They're gaining on Max Verstappen. And of course, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri and McLaren didn't have as good of a fairing as they did. Ended up being Ferrari, Verstappen, and then Lando was right off the podium fourth. So it was a pretty interesting race, and it was boring for the first half, and then it got exciting towards the end. So, but Ferrari at the American Grand Prix, or the Circuit of the Americas, they call it, which is in Austin, which we were going this year. But we didn't. I don't know.
So much going
ESPN College Game Day was at Texas. So
that's right.
And they showed the relationship of the racetrack to the
not
college.
very far apart. A busy weekend for that part of the world.
Yeah.
The hotels were like, we're going to charge how about, let's just charge them $2,000. How about that a night? That sounds good. They'll pay it. And they probably do. I mean,
they do.
And they've had some good concerts at COTA, the Circuit of the Americas track, on the Saturday night before the race. Last year was Billy Joel. The year before was somebody. I don't know who it was this year, but it's really looks like a fun thing to do. And we were definitely going this year. We were not going to miss it. And I can just procrastinate myself right out of traveling somewhere. It's so easy anymore because the stuff I have to do takes up enough time. And when I get back, it's anarchy and chaos. And
did you just think about it too late then? Or
well, I thought about it a year ago.
But I mean, just recently, like, it's coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 weeks. And so we did book our Monterey trip for next year in August. So that's
where are we staying?
Well, Steve, we're staying at Carmel by the Sea.
I'm not real picky. I don't have to have the ocean view.
And our nice black 28-foot aluminum trailer with a pillow and some of that egg crate foam. It does just fine.
I would do that.
Yeah, I would too.
You take your boat and just anchor it off.
Yeah, I would. I'd be a little nervous to riding my boat around out there in the Pacific Ocean. It gets a little
choppy,
snarly out there, and it's like going in the Chesapeake Bay with your boat. It ain't just a little lake, I mean, there's aircraft carriers that'll come past you and cruise ships, and they make a pretty good wake.
Yep,
they do. Even going slow.
Speaking of the boat, we got.
I know.
We did the math on how many times we went on our boat this year and what it cost us.
And you're selling it. 2 happiest days.
The day you buy it and the day you sell it. And we realized that we went out 3 times this year.
Okay.
And so the math is not very good.
Well,
the cost per use, or the CPU as we call it in the business world, was a little off the chart.
But you got it late.
No, we got it late, and we're going to have fun with it. We've got everything that we need for it. We finally got the electric winch to winch up the trailer. So, when you have to unhook it from the truck, you manually do that thing.
Wow.
It takes away a lot of the fun. The fun factor goes down to about a 0.
Wow.
And so I got an electric one that raises it and lowers it.
I didn't realize it was a hand crank.
Yeah, and it was tough. And I don't know if it was just one that was old and dilapidated or if it was whatever.
Well, and if the boat's not floating enough, then you're just dragging it onto the trailer.
Well, no. I'm not talking about that crank. That's one thing. But I'm talking about the one where you want to take it off the trailer hitch and you want to leave it off the trailer hitch. And so that one was a hand crank. Yeah. The one cranking it up is not too bad. But you really got to, when you put that boat on that trailer, it's heavy. And so you can't just go kind of halfway up and then hook it up and
right.
You got to jam that thing up there, and you got to get it so it goes right into that V goes right into that holder right there, and then you only have to reel it a couple of times. So, but we got that. We got all the stuff that we need for it. So we're going to take some trips next year when the weather warms up and go up to Lake George in New York and maybe down south to some. So we're going to do some boating trips, but we're going to trailer it to wherever we're going.
Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah, Winnipesaukee. Because you don't want to do the whole loop trip. And, there's people that do that trip that goes up the Mississippi River and over the St. Lawrence and down through the, it's a long way. Yeah. It's like a 6-month trip or something. So we're not looking for that because can you imagine if we were going for 6 months?
This place might fall apart.
With computers and fax machines and stuff like that, we might be able to run it from a fur.
I have a friend that takes his to Marathon, Florida from Michigan.
Wow.
And every year, once a year, they go, or twice a year, they're going up and down the coast, taking it back and forth.
So they go Michigan over to the Atlantic Ocean and then down,
right? The St. Lawrence Seaway and out, and then the Intercoastal Waterway most of the way, for more protected.
Yeah, it's the nice thing about the intercoastal versus the open ocean is like you said, it's a little more protected. There's services out there. There's a lot of other people out there.
Yeah.
You could end up out in the ocean and kind of by yourself.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Now, I wonder what happened to Stewart and Kathy.
Yeah. No,
I don't. So
Bermuda,
yeah, the old triangle.
Yeah.
That book, there was a book that came out about that when I was a kid. I read it, scared me to death.
right.
We're not flying to Florida, are we? We're not going to go over that Bermuda Triangle thing, are we, Mom and Dad? Of course, what did they ever figure out about the Bermuda Triangle?
I don't know. I read a book when I was a kid about Edgar Casey's book on Atlantis, and the whole world underneath the sea, and stuff.
That could have been it, right?
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
Crazy time.
Atlantis.
So am I the only one seeing a Tesla truck about every 5 minutes on the road?
They are.
All of a sudden, they're everywhere.
Yeah, different colors.
And different colors. I saw a black one yesterday. I still don't like them, but
no.
And I just saw a Polestar dealership at King of Prussia Mall. It's actually a closed bank, so there's no room for a car inside. I don't think.
That's odd.
And they've got like six cars outside.
Well, Tesla has a showroom inside the King of Prussia Mall, as does Porsche. Has a little boutique. And, and by the way, word to the wise, if you're going to have a Porsche boutique, have some Porsche stuff. Yeah. They have very limited, one T-shirt in extra small. It's like,
well, next time you see Zach Brown, mention.
Well, that's McLaren, but yeah.
Oh.
But thanks.
Same thing.
Thanks for playing.
I digress.
Yes, you do. But yeah, there's 2 dealerships there, but the Lord and Taylor store is still empty at King of Prussia, which I always thought would be a cool outlet for classic automobile.
There you go.
Yeah.
Husband goes left.
Yeah.
Wife goes right.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's our satellite office.
It could
our
be our
satellite location.
I mean, how cool would that be?
That would be cool.
That would be.
It's awfully close, though. It would be.
It is close.
It's almost too close.
Mm-hmm.
It would be logistically too. It's like moving three doors down in an apartment complex. It's harder than moving across town.
It's true.
Oh, we did
because
that.
it's a different mind. Oh, we'll just take one thing at a time. And on your 9,000th trip.
Yeah.
When I lived in Florida with my buddy, we had wicker furniture, and we would be on the 3rd floor. And when we moved, we would just throw it off the 3rd floor. He'd just stand down there. He'd be the catcher.
That's smart.
I'm like, you catch, I'll throw. I'm really better. I'm good at the aim part. Bam!
That's funny.
Wicker furniture.
Yeah, we moved just across the hall to a larger apartment, and I told friends, well, we're moving again 30 feet.
Yeah, but it's literally easier to move across town than 30 feet because
you do it in one day.
You do it in one day, and you're in that. We're moving today. And not when you're across the hall and you have 2 months to move.
Yeah, exactly.
All of a sudden it's the last day and you're like, we still have everything big.
Maybe we should start.
Get the plates.
And of course, the little stuff takes longer than the big stuff.
Yep.
When you think you get the couch and the refrigerator and the armoire out, you're like, whoo, we're done. No, you're not even close to that. Not even close. Still got all that other crap. Kathy and I are purging in our house. We are just getting to the point where we're just like, okay.
With you. Yep.
So we brought a bunch of boxes. We have receipts from like 1990.
Right.
It's like, grocery receipts. Hey, I bought this steak back in 1979.
How much a pound was it then?
I don't even want to look at that. That's the rabbit hole I do not want to go down and look at the prices of that stuff because I saw a menu. And I subscribe to newspapers.com, which is a cool site. And I saw a menu from 1989, and the steak and lobster at the fanciest restaurant, I may have said this, in Knoxville, Tennessee, was like $16.99.
Oh.
Steak and lobster.
Wow.
Like filet and lobster, $16.99. That would be the mashed potatoes now.
Yeah.
The boat of who needs that many mashed potatoes, for heaven? And if you're on podcast, I am doing my hands like I'm cradling a baby.
Yeah.
It's a big old baby.
Isn't it?
I mean, how much mashed potato? Can I get a half order? I'm not trying to be cheap, but geez,
you remember when pizzas were like $6?
Yeah.
Suddenly they're $25.
They're 20. Like, what the heck? So anyway, that's my
We had
rant
a baked
for
potato this weekend in Atlantic City. It was the size of a Kleenex box.
Oh, Kathy, Garrett and I are huge baked potato fans. And we have one at every meal, but she rolls her eyes. And even if she's not literally doing it, I can feel her rolling her eyes within my eyes. And so some of these potatoes you get, we literally have those damn things in the microwave. They might be in there for 20 minutes in the microwave, which is supposed to be the fastest internal cooking place in the world, and these things take forever. But by golly, when you pinch them open, they are steaming coming out. There's nothing worse than going to a restaurant. I don't know why I'm diverging.
Wow.
And getting a cool baked potato, not hot, not warm, kind of lukewarmish, and the butter won't even melt in it. You can't mash it into the.
Well, ours was. We sent it back because it was like,
Yeah. How do you mess that up? Come on.
Right.
It's like 1 cube of ice in your iced tea.
Yep.
Hence the name iced tea.
And why do they keep? My wife always has to have unsweetened iced tea, and they always ask, "Do you want sugar?"
Right.
No.
Well, but there's a difference between sweet tea and tea that you add sugar to. It's not quite as sugary. For some reason, I don't. Stop me, please, God.
Hey, this is a lifestyle show.
It's a segment 4. It's like Friday.
Yeah,
it's a casual Friday.
Yeah. I got to kick our feet up.
That's right.
But yeah, so anyway, I use Sweet and Low in my tea just for those of you keeping score at home.
Good to know.
So Michael Schumacher's last Ferrari F1 car is going up for sale that he raced in 2006 and won 5 races in that car.
Where's that cha-ching sound?
Yeah, and that is going RM Sotheby's. No estimate on the price, which means
if you have to ask, you can't buy.
Yeah, it means it's real. Call us for the estimate. Hey man, how much is that Ferrari? We can already tell that you can't afford it. And he was recently seen in public at a wedding, and he hadn't been seen since his ski accident.
Oh, really?
So, which has been, I don't know, 10, 12 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time that he has been, I don't know if he's bedridden or just out of the public eye or whatever, but it'll be interesting to see the last F1 car, the Ferrari F1 car, and it's really a good-looking car, and it's obviously red, which is, a pretty good color for Ferraris. Yeah, kind of like that one right there. That is actually, is that a Schumacher car?
Might be.
It might be. What's interesting though, just talking about trucks and the Tesla truck, seemed to be a resurgence lately of the LM002 Lamborghini.
Oh,
we had one down at Radnor Hunt. Did that one actually show up? Did you remember seeing it? I don't remember.
No, I don't.
Radnor. I don't think
a couple years ago,
for whatever reason. But I didn't realize this. They had the 5.2 liter Countach engine in them, and Pirelli made special tires, the Scorpions or something, just for that unit.
Yeah,
and they only made 301 of these things. But you could also order the 7.2 liter Marine V12.
Wow,
which I would think, and of course the nickname of those was Rambo Lambo.
Rambo Lambo.
So, and last but not least, the 2025 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. 233 miles per hour at Papenburg, Germany at the ATP Automotive Testing. A record for a car, now listen to this, that cost under $1 million. 5.5 liter twin turbo, double overhead cam, flat plane crank, 1,064 horsepower, 828 pound-feet of torque. I'm always never confused if I get that right. Pound-feet or
as
foot
Tim,
pound.
what's his name would say.
Driven by GM President Mark Roos.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that? $180,000 to $205,000 is going to be the sticker. Good luck finding one at that price.
Yeah. Wow.
I guarantee you will not be getting one at the $180,000 to $205,000 mark. This thing's got more performance than $1 million Ferraris and all that stuff.
Yep.
So anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week on the Classic Auto Mall Show. See you then.
You've been listening to the Classic Auto Mall Show with your host, Stuart Howden, executive producer Steve Safier. Produced and engineered by yours truly, J.R. Russ. Available on ClassicAutomall.com, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Music courtesy of the Pat Travers Band. For tour dates, contact, and stuff, visit PatTravers.com. Produced by Car Smarts Media. Copyright all rights reserved.